It's the Real Estate Podcast, brought to you by ANZ Home Loans for financial well-beings.
Hey, welcome back to another episode of the Real Estate Breakfast as we cover the very latest in property news every morning. And we do that on iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts and Amazon. And it's a Thursday, the 23rd day for May. And I don't know about you, but the year, it has just been motoring by. And it's like since COVID happened, time has sped up. So what I did this morning was I did a little bit of a Google search on exactly that. And people are talking about this being a bit of a phenomenon. So it's not just you or me. Since the onset of COVID-19, people have noticed a distorted sense of time. Days can feel endless, yet months seem to fly by, largely due to the repetitive nature of lockdown life. And a survey found that over 80% of participants felt their perception of time had shifted during lockdown compared to pre-pandemic times. And the phenomenon is linked to higher stress, reduced social interaction, and a lack of new experiences. The sudden changes and ongoing uncertainties like economic instability and health anxieties have compounded these feelings. The brain, it seems, struggles with the loss of routine, leading to feelings of entrapment and increased anxiety. And a psychiatrist notes that fewer experiences like dining out or travelling does make time feel slower. While day-to-day time can seem slow, looking back, larger chunks of time appears to have passed more quickly, creating a confusing sense of time. So it's not just you or me, it is definitely a thing. We are still, it seems, adjusting to life after the crazy lockdowns and everything that came with it. And this morning, let's catch up to Nick Hernandez, working in the commercial space this morning, to tell us a little bit about a unique property. And good morning to you, Nick. Welcome to the Real Estate Breakfast.
Hey, good morning. Yeah, it's a pleasure being on here and speaking with you. I'm excited to chat about our recent listing for a whole town for sale.
All right, so right now it's time to talk to you property investors who have what you think is a completed portfolio. Now, you might have spent years putting together your properties and you've seen everything when it comes to property investing. But what about owning your own town and adding a town to your portfolio, and all for under $10 million? So, Nick, what are you selling there? Because you are in San Diego. What are you selling exactly?
Yeah, certainly a very unique offering. We're actually selling an entire town here in San Diego County on the eastern edge. The town of Campo, California is up for sale.
If you're wanting to get into this property, under 10 million Australian dollars, what is somebody buying? Like, can you explain a little bit about the product?
Absolutely. Yeah. So first, I'll start off by kind of giving you a brief history on the town of Campo, California. Back during World War II, this was actually the former site of Camp Lockett, which was actually an army base stationed here in Southern California. It was home of the Buffalo Soldiers, which was the last mounted cavalry unit of the U.S. Army. After World War II, the Camp Lockett was disbanded and a small portion of it was sold off to a private investor back in the 1950s. And that is what is now today known as Campo, California. It's 3 parcels that total up to 16 acres. It's a mix of residential units and commercial units. There's some small apartment buildings and single family homes. There's also some unique commercial tenants on the property as well. We have a very cool lumber supply store. There's, of course, the post office. You have a border patrol presence there as well, since it's right along the U.S.-Mexico border. And there's also some other smaller commercial tenants throughout the town as well.
You know, in terms of selling real estate, sounds like a very unique set of circumstances that you are selling there in San Diego. There are these property investors with a number of properties that contain their portfolio. Probably none of them contain entire town. As you say, there's a mix of commercial and residential.
Yep, it's certainly very unique. You know, not every day a whole town comes up on the market, especially here in California. And what really makes this one, you know, extremely unique is its location. You know, it's strategically located, you know, inside of an hour's drive of San Diego proper, a major city here in Southern California, surrounded by the beautiful Laguna Mountains and a beautiful lake there as well. And it really has a beautiful, serene feel to it.
Yeah, well, it certainly sounds like somebody is going to add this town to their property portfolio. How exciting. And we are talking with Nick this morning in San Diego. And when we come back, we will find out about the local San Diego property market. We'll do that after this.
Gain insights with exclusive conversations from real estate professionals about buying, selling and investing across Australia.
And right now it's time for another 30-second property tip, and we are taking you back to Western Australia and to Broome. Stephen Cole is there. Stephen, what have you got for us in the way of a tip this morning?
Look, I suppose it's a tip for agents as well as, buyers and sellers alike is around contracts. I think everyone has had a difficult experience in real estate. It doesn't matter who you speak to, but I think a lot of that tension comes from not being explained whose obligations certain things are and what to put on a contract. So for me, it's really about being completely transparent when we're signing that contract or presenting an offer to a seller, that the buyer understands completely what their rights are and the seller understands what their obligations are. I think, when that is transparent, everyone knows up front before that offer is signed. At that settlement process, we don't have issues. Everything runs through smoothly.
Yeah, and I think the other thing too is if you've got a question, don't be scared to ask, because sometimes when people are transacting, they just sign away, instead of really asking, getting into the detail.
Absolutely. I think, and DocuSign has a lot to say for that too. I think as an agent, it's very easy now because we're transacting so many properties just to send through a DocuSign and assume the person that's signing that understands what they're signing. We really do, especially that first home buyer market you're talking about, sit down in the office and explain exactly what a contract is. We do this every day as agents, but a lot of buyers and even sellers don't understand the process. So taking the time to explain, what are you actually signing here?
Yes, because first home buyers especially, which is the point that you are making, ask all of the questions that you can think of. Don't be shy. Don't feel shy and feel like you're asking a dumb question, because really, when you are buying property, there is no dumb question to ask. It might seem that way, but it's not. So it's all about you feeling comfortable in the knowledge of what you're about to buy.
Whether you're a seasoned investor or a first-time buyer, know your property with us on the Real Estate Podcast.
Just recently, we have been talking about fractional buying properties. This would be an ideal one for some company to bring in and turn it into a fractional situation where people can spend $100, $200, $300, $400, $1,000, get a slice of the town.
Yep, that's certainly a unique idea, and we're open, to hearing investors who have, some unique plans for what they want to do with the property. Fractional ownership can definitely be one of them. Another unique idea that we've been proposing to buyers would be to purchase this town and then further divide up the parcels into smaller parcels and then sell them off individually, allowing some of the local residents to get a piece of ownership.
You work in the commercial space, so just give us a sense of what the commercial space is doing in San Diego at the moment.
Yeah, so similar to other markets, San Diego has experienced a big slowdown due to interest rates and, the price of some of these assets. I would say, as soon as interest rates started to spike up here in the U.S. Back in middle of 2022, we saw a large decline in transaction volume. Surprisingly, though, prices in San Diego have remained very strong. My brokerage specifically focuses on multifamily properties. The values of multifamily properties in Southern California have yet to come down, if not at all, throughout the past year and a half. So it's been surprising. There's definitely been less properties that have been traded recently. Properties have still been performing well, and there's still a large renter demand for tenants to live, here in San Diego.
Yes, when you look at the Californian market, I know that the real estate hotspot, one of those hotspots is exactly where you are, and to your point, it has not gone backwards. And then, of course, with the interest rate where it is at, it's always to be in a preferred position where you've got markets that, such as San Diego, that just seems to be keeping their head above water and not going backwards with that interest rate situation.
Yep, I can definitely attest to that. And I think one of the attributing factors here in San Diego that's helped San Diego remain strong compared to some of the other major cities in California is we have some of the more friendly landlord-tenant legislation. There's some major hurdles that are facing Los Angeles and San Francisco in regards to what landlords can do with their properties, and as far as rent control and dealing with tenants. San Diego remains to be a little bit more friendly for ownership. However, there are some challenges facing us in the future. We'll see if San Diego remains a strong landlord-friendly city to invest in.
Now, you're talking to us from San Diego, and we are in Australia. Have you ever been to Australia, Nick?
I have not. My mother, though, has a childhood friend from Australia, and she was just there last year visiting her friend, but I have yet to make it out there. It's definitely on my bucket list, though.
Nick, you have got to get down under as soon as you can. Allocate some time to just relax, because we're talking about that COVID situation with time speeding up all the time. You need to slow down and relax in Australia by the sound of it.
Yep, certainly. I would definitely look forward to enjoying a nice trip out there. I've got to carve out a little piece of my schedule to make some time to head out there, but certainly looking forward to it. Hopefully I can get out there in the next year or so.
And as a busy real estate person there working in the US, give us a sense of just how busy you are, just to finish up on.
Yeah, so our brokerage remains pretty busy. Lately, we've been working a lot more with investors who are cash buyers who don't have to, leverage the bank and the higher interest rates. A lot of the deals that we've been doing lately have been either all cash deals or deals where the seller incorporates some form of seller financing to help get deals across the table. So we remain busy in these challenging times.
All right, well, we'll leave it on that note. Nick, we look forward to seeing you down under, and thanks for coming on to the Real Estate Breakfast this morning.
Absolutely. It was a pleasure being here and speaking with you. I look forward to doing it again sometime.
Let's explore together the power of real estate. We keep you better informed and updated.
The average block across Port Noarlunga South, Seaford, Moana, where we tend to work, is around that 700 to 800. We do come across some of the bigger ones also. The block that I just bought was a little over 1,100 square.
Tell us a little bit about just how much that growth has really taken off, because Adelaide, it has been one of the stories, one of the talking points for the last 2 years, really, just in terms of people moving into the region.
Absolutely. So I started in real estate going back about 7 years ago, and the average sale price for me back then was around $400,000. So that was going back pre-COVID. Come 2020, when COVID hit, surprising to all of us, 3 years on with the growth that we've got, it's sort of our average sale price. My average sale price down this way is around that $800,000.
We connect you to the best real estate information across Australia. The Real Estate Podcast.